What's going on, people? I am B Dobbins, FTW. And today I wanted to talk about the most important thing that gaming has to offer us, which is friendship. I want to talk about how games like Overwatch prove that when it's done right, video games are the ultimate social media platform. And I want to go over how gamers can make the most out of gaming as a social experience. Human beings love to chit-chat. We crave social interaction, many of us obsessively so, and this is why things like Facebook and smartphones and the internet generally have become such integral parts of our society over the last 15 years. We crave that social interaction for a few reasons. The first simply being that other human beings are incredibly entertaining. They are the content that keeps on giving, right? Stories, jokes, opinions, observations, all culminating in what we refer to as conversation, which is the original and ultimate form of entertainment. Conversation is to entertainment what bread is to food. It goes with fucking everything, and the variety is seemingly limitless. Conversation is the same way. It complements just about any activity you can think of. Whether it's a movie, or bowling, or cooking, or video games, conversation increases the entertainment value of all that stuff. It even increases the entertainment value of shit that otherwise wouldn't be fun at all. Like, waiting in line for shit, or catch and release ice fishing. Now, the catch is, you have to enjoy the person you are conversing with, that you are hanging out with, right? There has to be a level of compatibility there, built on shared experiences or similar interests, and that is how we usually determine who we want to be friends with. Now, because people are so unique, none of us is compatible with everyone. In fact, most of us aren't compatible with most others. We can pretend to be, and we can certainly be friendly and cordial, obviously, but there's always a distinct difference between someone you would call a friend just because, you've played on the same sports team, or you work together, or you've just been going to school together for hella days. There's a difference between that and an actual close relationship with another human being who comes over on the weekends to share gossip and look to them for advice and shit like that, and confide in them, who you stay in touch with after high school by some means other than liking their Facebook statuses from time to time. In this commentary, we're talking about actual friendships, okay? Not the largely unimportant, though necessary, superficial, friendly acquaintances we all develop over time just because it would be rude and unnatural to treat someone as a stranger after you've known them for so long and you've been sitting next to them in class or having to work with them or whatever. Those real friendships are what's important. They are what provide you that high quality, lasting entertainment. People you can hang out with, who you go bowling or camping with, going out to the bars, kicking back at their house, taking dabs, playing Mario Kart. Friendships that make whatever video game you're playing online more fun when you play it with them. You can almost think of your friends as characters from Overwatch. Each friendship has its own appeal, its own style. We all have several different Overwatch characters that we love to play for different reasons. For me, it's Reaper and Mercy, the Demon and the Angel. Polar opposites, but both super exciting to play. Play Reaper when I want to make other people mad, and play Mercy when I want to make my friends happy. And they each offer different gameplay experiences. The thrill of the hunt and the thrill of the narrow escape, right? They're each totally different ways to play the game. Two separate but equal kinds of entertainment. And likewise, I have friends who all offer me different kinds of entertainment. I'm sure you do too. My friend Waffles is who I nerd out with about tech and sci-fi and futurology. I do political circle jerks with Steffi. I get drunk and act a fool and let the fuck go with Kyle. I go to my cousin Mark when I need to discuss just how real life really gets. Oh, and Leatherwood sometimes sends me dank memes with Satan about to fuck abroad with a 10-foot cock and stuff like that. Each of my close friends has their own sense of humor, their own insights into the world, new perspectives and opinions to offer, their own stories to tell. Whether it's Kyle getting into a fight with a cop or Mark having to do this army training shit where they drop you off in the wilderness and you have to find your way back home, and how he had a crush on this girl in his group so he gave her his beanie so she could wipe her ass with when she had to shit hella bad out there in the forest. Or when Waffles filled me in on all the top secret projects going on at Tesla after he interned there for a summer. In fact, when you're with the right friends, you can do a lot of content creation. We're out camping, Kyle cracks a joke about people compensating for small penises with big fires. I observe that our fire doesn't even have flames, so we must have huge penises. And everybody there cracks up. And it's a you had to be there moment because we were starving, pretty faded, and trying for hours to get that fucking fire to start. It was an in the moment kind of thing, but every time I think of that now, I chuckle. I had the lulls at the time and the funny memory to come back to for a good laugh. Small gems that when added up over time drastically improve the overall quality of your life experience. Shit that otherwise wouldn't be there without the social interaction you had with a friend. Those kinds of friendships are incredibly valuable, not only because they are a source of entertainment, but also because they serve as a form of social support. You need someone to watch the dogs while you're out of town, or give you a ride when your car breaks down, or help you repair something you otherwise wouldn't be able to. For me, it's my bike. Friends provide us many benefits that can improve your quality of life experience in real, tangible ways that oftentimes go beyond just entertainment. And that social support extends to games too, of course, when you need people to raid with, to party up with so you can win more, when you need a gunner in your tank or heli, when you need a Lucio. And friends provide some things that no other kind of content ever could, which are specific kinds of human emotion. The thrill of seeing a close friend you haven't seen in a long time, the excitement of someone else laughing at your joke, the satisfaction of knowing that someone else understands how you feel right now and that you're not that crazy. But entertainment and support are only extensions of friendship's true reward, which is love. For whatever reason, we human beings are born incredibly insecure about our own self-worth. We are obsessed with validation, with proving to others and perhaps ourselves that we have value, that our existence is worth it, that life isn't wasted on us. Nowhere is this more evident than video games, where we obsess with stats and leaderboards and competitive ranks and who's on top and who's not. Outside of games, we want to make sure that everybody knows we make a lot of money, that we're really great in bed and we have huge cocks and can last for hours with the many different women we bed. We want to make sure everyone sees our great clothes and our nice cars. For all of human history, we've been obsessed with gold, wearing it, having it, showing it. It's all about status. We feel embarrassed if we're virgins or unemployed. I know motherfuckers are ashamed to admit they stopped going to school, and later on ashamed to admit we don't have college degrees. But your real friends don't like you for your stuff or what you've done. And if they do, you'll figure it out sooner or later. But your real friends, the real ones, like you because they enjoy who you are. They value the real life piece of content that is you. They like playing the Overwatch character that is you, just as you enjoy them. Every friend you have is living proof that you are good enough, that you have value, that you are worth loving. We put all this effort into self-validating other ways, nice cars, clothes, big muscles, video game stats, massive skyscrapers with our names in giant gold letters on the front, subscriber counts on YouTube, who has the nicest shoes, when really, all you need is love. Now, these other things, again, the money and the cars and the clothes and the muscles, the careers and the degrees, they aren't bad things, but pursue them because you enjoy them. Pursue them because you want to make the most of whatever talents you have, not because you think they will complement your identity, because they won't. So for all these reasons, friendship is incredibly valuable and important. And of course, most people instinctively understand these benefits I just laid out. That's why they used to have pen pals. That's why today we have Facebook. We crave social interaction with our fellow man, and any tool that can streamline that interaction is sure to make a hefty profit. But Facebook and media platforms like it are actually a regression in human social behavior for a number of reasons we'll discuss, whereas gaming is the greatest social media platform of all time, and not enough people discuss gaming that way. In fact, for most of my life, gaming was unfairly stigmatized as an antisocial activity, when nothing could be further from the truth. Think about how many friends you wouldn't have today if you had never met them online. I have at least 2 or 3 very close friends, all of which I met online playing video games. I have a friend who lived in Wisconsin who ended up coming out to visit while he was in California for his internship, and he's like one of my best friends, and I wouldn't even know the guy if we hadn't been matchmade on Call of Duty Black Ops and then randomly decided to party up 5 years ago. It's funny because today we have a whole host of dating websites, for every possible cohort of person, Christian mingles, black singles, eHarmony, and then of course Tinder. These kind of sites are super popular because they streamline the process of meeting new people to fuck. Because the reality of life is that it's not always easy to meet new people. You live and work or go to school in the same place for years at a time, as most of us do. At a certain point, the amount of new people you meet slows to a trickle. You already knew everyone that you see on a day-to-day basis, and in real life, meeting new people can be awkward and unnatural if there isn't some purpose bringing you together, right? You don't just randomly go up to people and say, "Hi, I'd like to meet you," on the off chance you are someone I'd like to be friends with and or fuck. For one, because that'd be strange and probably weird people out, and also because you don't know just by looking at people whether or not they're going to be compatible with you as a friend, whether they are an Overwatch character you'll enjoy playing and vice versa. It'd be super awkward if you did say hi, "I'd like to get to know you," and then you got to know them and we're like, "Yeah, I don't really want to be your friend," or vice versa. That's why most friendships usually originate naturally from some shared experience. You worked together on something, you were on the same sports team, you both had a mutual friend who you went out with at the same time, and then became friends yourself. Shit like that, where you got to know someone naturally, and you get to know him naturally, and maybe you can decide if you want to take that friendship farther, if you shoot them a text and ask them if they want to play Pokemon Go the next day or something, Forcing it doesn't work. Now, granted, when it comes to fucking, most people can decide, well, I'd fuck her just by looking at her. The compatibility doesn't even really matter to men. Most men would fuck women they absolutely hate as a person, but pussy is pussy, right? It's called hate fucking, and divorced couples do it all the time. We need to get off. They haven't met someone new yet. But of course, the reason shit like Tinder exists is so that you don't have to risk the gut-wrenching sensation of rejection based on other factors you can't assess visually, like if she already has a boyfriend, if she's a lesbian, or if she just doesn't find you attractive. But we're not talking about fucking. Tinder and eHarmony have made it so anyone can fuck someone new whenever they want. It solved that problem for all of time. What we're talking about is that gaming is to friendship what Tinder is to sex. It streamlines the rate at which you meet new people. It gives you access to the largest pool of people possible to draw from, maximizing the amount of different kinds of people you meet. And gaming is the shared experience that brings people together and lets them get to know each other, right? The difference between some random you've been paired with and a really good friend is one match of Overwatch. I've made 6 or 7 friends on Overwatch, and it always starts as us working together in game chat because we both want to win. And then we party up because we want to keep winning. And then time goes by, and later on, we're partying up on different games just because at that point we're friends and we like playing games together. Does that happen with every person or even most of the people I strategize with in game chat on Overwatch? No. A lot of the time, we work together on a match and I decided I didn't really care for the guy. Maybe he was a whiny little bitch or too bossy or just kind of boring, but that's okay. There's a seemingly endless supply of new people to keep meeting on this game and other games. I have another whole group of friends that I made on H1Z1, and another whole group that I made on Battlefield. I probably have like 30 friends that I've made just this last year, all of whom I enjoy very much for a diverse set of reasons, each one offering their own style of friendship and content, just as each Overwatch character offers their own way to play the game. Gaming lets us get to know people and interact with them on a deeper level than simply looking at the pictures or random memes and videos they've shared on their wall. Facebook barely counts as interaction. It's more of a strange reality television program where you can watch and judge people without the fear of being judged back. And what part of you is judged is hand-selected by you. You don't have to run the risk of people seeing who you really are, how you act when the odds are stacked against you, when you are faced with a difficult task, when you fail, or when you witness another fail. You are judged purely on the merits of what pictures you decided the world should judge you by. Pictures of you smiling broadly, of you on vacation, of you out with your friends, as many pictures as you can that feature women, preferably in close contact with you, selfies in bathroom mirrors with your shirt off. And then, of course, the ladies of a certain age love the racy swimsuit pics, right? Never mind that during most of that vacation you were cranky and bored because your parents made you do a bunch of sightseeing you didn't want to do and you had nobody your age to hang out with. Never mind that you don't go out with your friends nearly as much as you used to and you're depressed about it because you spend most of your time after you get off work or home from school sitting around in your underwear jerking off to those same racy swimsuit pics of girls you wish you could have fucked but you know you never will. Never mind that the girl in that photo coldly rejected your romantic advances 10 minutes after the picture was taken. You don't want the world to know about those parts of your life, right? Only the smiles and the pics of you in interesting places doing interesting things that make you look fascinating, that make you look like you have your shit together, that make you look confident, even though really you were bored in all of them. And the most exciting part of any of those experiences was taking the picture and knowing people would think you were interesting. And when something truly fascinating does happen, when you see the Pope, you don't actually experience it, you look at it through your camera phone. So you can save it and show it off later so that other people think you're that much more interesting for having been there. Never mind that you might as well have not been there because you just saw the thing through the screen. Same as you would have if you had been sitting at home. And then the studies show us that the more time we spend on Facebook, the more depressed we become. Because we see these custom-made, biased little murals of people's lives, and we fall for it, and we think it's real. That this person is always as happy as the grinning selfies and the bubbly Facebook posts they share. We fall for it. We feel worse about ourselves because we wonder why we aren't that happy or that interesting, but it's a dirty trick because nobody takes pictures when they fail. Nobody takes pictures when they are hurt. Nobody feels inclined to update their status with just how boring and disappointing their life has become. But newsflash, life isn't a Disney Channel original series where each day is a new episode featuring new characters, jokes, a conflict, and a tidy resolution where everything turns out okay. Life is a series of obstacles that will always find new and clever ways to knock you on your fucking ass, and we are not defined by how we look when we are standing tall, but by how we behave after our ass has made contact with concrete. Facebook will only ever be an illusion, one devoid of any true emotion or critical assessment, a creepy fairy tale. But gaming lets you actually meet people in an arena where you can judge others by real human standards. When you play a match of Overwatch with someone, you will see how they react to failure, their own and their others, how they respond to adversity or defeat, how they honor victory and the triumph of others, who is cooperative and who is not, who places the self before the team and vice versa, who is considerate and who is rude, who owns their mistakes, and who tries to shift blame on others. You will be able to judge to some extent their intelligence, what strategies they can develop, what enemy strategies they can foresee. You can separate the leaders from the whiny little bitches. And being able to know someone on this deeper level is what makes gaming such a powerful social media platform, because only when you truly know someone can you know if you are truly compatible, and only then can you form true friendships that go deeper than validating each other's online narcissism. And it's important to have something that facilitates true camaraderie, because for many of us it's something that can be hard to come by. Many of us, if not all of us, are going to wake up one day, realize that we don't have very many real friends. Perhaps we realize we don't have any at all, and the temptation is to think less of yourself, because culturally there is this tendency to think less of those who don't appear to have friends, because at a certain point people treat friends almost like the money in the cars, you know? You're a loser if you don't have a lot. Something must be wrong with you if nobody fucking likes you. But this is a mistake. Now, it's possible that nobody likes you just because you're a douche, you know, if you committed a satanic ritual sacrifice of a beloved puppy in front of your whole school. People probably aren't going to like you very much. But most of the time, a lack of friends, or the complete absence of friends, isn't the result of an objectively shitty person, but simply someone with a very specific kind of personality compatibility that has very few, if any, potential matches in their present environment. And like I said, we all feel this way, sooner or later. Maybe when we go to a new school or get a new job. I know I felt this way towards the end of high school. You know, I'd already been in a very serious relationship for 4 years. I got married when I was 13. I had already decided I didn't want to go to college, but I knew I still needed to make some money. I was living on my own with Cece in a garage. I was obsessed with gaming and politics, and there wasn't a whole lot that I had to talk about with most of the people around me. For one, because most of them were still virgins. Not that there's anything wrong with being a virgin, but when I've been fucking every day for 4 years, I want to talk with someone about the intricacies of the G-spot. Or whether it's a dereliction of my manly duties if I have her touch herself while I fuck her because it's easier and more enjoyable for both of us. I was going through the pains of, well, how do you balance out time with your friends and your girlfriend? How do you avoid the temptations of other women? How do you resolve conflicts with your significant other? How do you build a career, not just a day job, but a career without a college degree? And how do you do it when you're 18? Most of the people around me, the people that were technically my friends in high school, they were talking about how many college applications they filled out, how they did on their AP tests, a deadline for student aid applications, who was fucking who, how do you last longer when you do fuck, who's got the nicer car, random stories from the night they got super drunk with other friends, and they always think the drunk stories are so unique, but most of the time they're all the same story. And a bunch of other random shit that I didn't care about. At that particular point in life, their content wasn't that interesting to me. And my boring struggles of monogamy weren't interesting to them either. And nobody gave a shit about or took seriously the thought of me starting a YouTube channel. I mean, most people treated it the same way you treat someone trying to be a rock star, professional skateboarding. Amused indifference that stung my pride. And I didn't like to talk about what I was trying to do until I had some actual success to show it off. My mom was super pissed at me for not going to college. And the result was, for a while there, I felt like I had nobody I could really talk to. And not that I was super sad or depressed or anything. I'm not trying to give you a sob story here, a pity party, but it is a lonely feeling not to have anyone who can engage with you in meaningful or substantive discussion about the things that you care about at this particular moment in your life, which is essentially what it means to have no friends. And it's lonely and shitty, but it's not a failure. It's not something that should make you feel as if you need to change yourself. Stay true to the Overwatch character that is you, because in Overwatch, there are some characters that frankly don't get the same amount of playtime or love as others. Bastion, for instance, will never get played as often or by as many people as Reaper or Soldier, because he's only really viable on defense most of the time, sometimes on offense, but mostly just on defense. He's usually a character that requires a significant amount of coordination with teammates, all of whom need to have mics. He requires you to learn a very unique kind of playstyle that is probably unlike anything you've played in FPS before. He also typically requires great patience, and for these reasons, Bastion has limited compatibility with Overwatch players, and that's why you don't see him get played as often, nearly as often, as most of the other characters. But that's okay, because he's still an awesome piece of content. He's still a fucking blast to use when he's used right. When you do have teammates you can coordinate with, and a team comp that complements his playstyle, and he's super effective when used properly as well too. He can make your defense nearly impregnable. He adds to the variety of the game. He's fun to play against, requiring you to think up new strategies and counters. It would be tragic if Bastion gave up on the originality of his content because he wanted to get played more. It would be tragic if he tried to be more like Soldier, who anyone and everyone can play. It would be tragic if the whole world just wanted to be more like Soldier so they would get played more. It would be a Call of Duty world, a monotonous and depressing amount of generic COD characters tricking themselves into thinking this perk or that attachment makes them unique when really they're all just playing the same unoriginal game of hide and seek. And the fact is, there are a lot of people in real life who give up the originality of the content that is them to be a real life imitation of something they think other people will like. And the world is a more boring place because of it. In real life, there will be times when you feel like a Bastion or a Torbjorn. There will be times when it feels like very few people, if any, want to play you. And sometimes that can be hard, especially if in the past you felt like a Soldier or Reaper. But always own who you are, because the original piece of content that is you is better than whatever generic imitation you picked up off of Disney Channel. Call of Duty and Soldier will always be popular, but the world would be a depressing place if that's all there was. And the most important part of friendship, as I mentioned, is knowing that you have value to someone else, and somebody cares about what happens to you. It's about satisfying that most primitive of needs, that trophies and money and fame simply fail to, try as we might. But if you aren't being yourself, if you're being some version of something that you think others will like, well then that need won't ever be satisfied, because those friendships aren't validating your human value, they are validating that of whatever lie you put forward as yourself. It's empty, pointless, and you'll figure that out on your own eventually, and there's actually nothing that enjoyable about having fake friends. Time is the most valuable thing you own. Don't waste it trying to be something that you're not. Gaming lets us meet new people faster and more conveniently and less awkwardly than the people you may know section on Facebook. The common desire for victory is the ultimate icebreaker, and one that has no clear equivalent on Facebook or even in real life. Gaming lets us actually get to know people on a deeper level than viewing their pics and interests, on a deeper level than sitting next to them in math class. It lets you work and interact with them and share experiences as if you were on the same sports team or at the same job, working together towards the same goals, assessing one another's weaknesses and strengths. It lets us stay in touch with people on a deeper level than leaving a happy birthday post on their wall when Facebook reminds you to. It lets us actually hang out with one another, as opposed to just sending messages, as if we were really together, even when we are hundreds of miles apart. I've felt lonely before, I'll probably feel lonely again. In an era when so much and so many conspire to tear us apart, gaming brings us together and offers us a streamlined access to the best things that there are in life: human content and love. The For the win query of the day is what makes you a good friend to play games with. And then here's what I want everyone to do, okay? Go through the comments, find the funniest reply to you personally. Not the most upvoted, but find the funniest reply to you for you personally to that For the Win query. Message that person, get that motherfucker's gamer tag. There was this time a long time ago when I invited a bunch of subscribers to play with me, and a lot of those guys who came to play with me ended up being great friends with each other and are good friends to this day. I join parties and they're these best buds, still playing games together, still hanging out probably every day on games in parties, and they fucking met through me. I think that's pretty cool. I really fucking like that. I guarantee you have a best friend watching this video right now. Because things like this video attract people with high levels of personality compatibility. Go out there in that comment section, make a fucking friend to play video games with. You won't regret it. As stupid as it sounds, you won't regret it. And when you answer the For the Win query, leave that goddamn gamer tag, that PlayStation name, leave it at the bottom of your comment. We'll make a fucking friend today. Shit's dope. Thanks for watching. This is Batman, signing out.
Play of the game.